Well, hello, and a very big hello from Ireland. I'm very pleased to be with you today, and a big thank you as well to LEPH for inviting me to speak with you today. My name is Colette Quinn. I'm a Chief Superintendent in the Irish Police Service, and we call ourselves an Garda Síochána, which is a bit of a mouthful if you're trying to pronounce it and you're not from Ireland. But essentially it means Guardians of the Peace, so quite a nice name for a police service. In any event, I'm here today to speak to you along with my colleagues about trauma-informed practice, and more specifically about organisational change and moving towards a trauma-informed national youth justice system. My own day-to-day job is here in Ireland. I am head of the Garda Youth Diversion Bureau, which is essentially a national bureau. We have a national police service, and I head up all the youth justice and the youth crime aspects for the organisation. Now, I suppose I can tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. And I think the first thing I'm going to say to you is that youth justice in Ireland, what does it actually look like? So Ireland has embraced the concept of child-friendly justice, and our obligations under the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child through the enactment of a piece of legislation called the Children's Act. And you can see that it's as far back as 2001. Now, the Diversion programme, and I suppose by way of introduction to this audience, I would like to say a few words about our Diversion programme and how we as a police service support child-friendly justice and the best interest of the child principle. Ireland is somewhat unique in its approach to youth justice, as a legal responsibility for the administration of the programme rests with the police service. Children who it is alleged have committed a criminal offence must, by law, be referred to the programme for consideration on their suitability to be dealt with by the programme and not through the criminal courts. And we have roughly about 80% of our referrals are accepted to the programme, with about 20% going forward to the criminal courts. So I suppose the overarching aim is to intervene at the earliest opportunity, to divert children from further offending and away from the harshness of the criminal justice system, and to address any welfare or unmet needs that may have contributed to the offending behaviour in the first place. And I suppose to that end, we could argue that we operate a public health, or certainly a welfare approach to youth crime. A police officer at superintendent rank is a legal officer who decides on the suitability of a child for admission. And we have a cadre of specially and specifically trained police officers, Garda here in Ireland, called juvenile liaison officers, and I'm going to say JLOs for short when I refer to them further on in the presentation, who engage with children admitted to our programme. So our Department of Justice is responsible for the development of youth justice policy in Ireland, and as expected, policy is developed with input from a wide variety of stakeholders, including the police. And incidentally, we are just about to publish our new youth justice strategy 2021 to 2027 in the coming weeks. And another useful development is that the Department of Justice, in its criminal justice sectorial strategy 2021 to 2023, has identified the delivery of trauma-informed services at every stage of the criminal justice system as a key pillar in building workforce capacity into the future. So all that bodes well for the work that we have just embarked on and the project that I'll talk to you about now shortly. So with that in mind, I'm going to move on to our exploratory study, where as head of the Bureau, I partnered with Youth Rise, Quality Matters and University College Cork to conduct an exploratory study of early life trauma and their implications for our Garda youth diversion services. Through our work, that a great many of the children involved in the criminal justice system have been exposed to trauma already. The research in the area backs up our concern in that it tells us that young people in contact with the criminal justice system have approximately 3 times more adverse childhood experiences, or ACEs, than that of the average population, and indeed are 4 times more likely to have experienced 4 or more ACEs. From a service delivery point of view, we wanted to get some understanding of how well informed our juvenile liaison officers and youth workers were of the impact of trauma and adverse childhood experiences on the children they engage with. So the study involved an analysis of case files and interviews with youth workers and police officers, namely our juvenile liaison officers, working with these children. The ACE profile of the young person in the study was found to mirror closely that of populations accessing homelessness, probation and substance support services. Overall, the findings highlighted high rates of trauma in this population and the importance of effective intervention, engagement and diversion strategies. The study also found that juvenile liaison officers and youth workers know this intuitively as they go about their day-to-day work with young people. It found the police approach to support many of the principles of trauma-informed care, even if officers had no specific training in the area. The emphasis on building relationships and rapport between the young person and the professional was found to be safe, supportive, trusting and respectful. The study also highlighted a number of opportunities for improvement of service, and it is hoped that through our youth justice strategy, we can promote the concept of a trauma-informed national youth justice system here in Ireland. So what are our next steps? Well, the evidence suggests that the trauma-informed justice system can enhance young people's resilience and well-being and help them to reduce aggressive behaviours and chances of recidivism. In the context of organisational change and support for trauma-informed policing, the building of workforce capacity and raising awareness among staff through awareness campaigns, training and buy-in from police leaders will be critical to moving towards a trauma-informed organisation. My office intends to continue to work with our partners in Youth Rise, Quality Matters and University College Cork, along with some new partners in the UK's Lancaster Constabulary, where a significant amount of groundwork has already been completed and Ireland can benefit from their experiences. So I hope my presentation has given you some insight into our efforts to move towards a trauma-informed national youth justice system. We certainly are at the early days of bringing that forward organisationally, but in my own particular area of expertise and in my own particular area of work, which is supported by the Children's Act and also by international instruments, for example, the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child, we have been operating what I would call a hybrid type of youth justice system, where we focused on welfare and addressing welfare needs, and that in terms of risk, the offending behaviour tends to be an indicator of other unmet needs. So thank you very much for today, and I look forward to answering some questions should you wish to. Thank you.